in Hong Kong have never been so into sports and the outdoors until COVID. If you visited your local sports store, you'd be so surprised by how packed it is. Today we're going to learn about the magic of doing sports. Today's feature is a social venture founded in 2019 that promotes empowerment, compassion, and wellness through innovatively blending sports and social intervention. Their consultancy work supports in providing free sports experiences to low-income groups to reduce social isolation. They also offer employment and on-the-job training opportunities for the disadvantaged, such as early retirees, underprivileged youth, ethnic minorities to improve social upward mobility, including but not limited to positions such as sports ambassadors, coaches, and project management personnel. Welcome to Changemakers. Today our guest is on a mission to change the world through sports. Please meet our guest today, Tina.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Well, would you please share about your social enterprise with us?
Yeah,
how do you help the world with sports?
Absolutely. Our social ventures was founded last year, pretty new. We aim to create social change through our religion. Let me put it this way. Sports is our religion. Right. So we intend to broaden the spectrum of sports. So number one being the people who take part, not only for athlete, sports people, but for everyone.
Right.
Number two is to broaden the function of sports. So when you think of sports, you think about health, but we feel sports have more function other than that. One thing that you learn from the past years is without health, there will be no business, you will have no friends because you got so depressed. There will be huge medical bills. So sports and health is more than just a figure on the scale or how fast you run, right?
Right.
That aside, so we live in a very polarized world.
Right.
So while we know sports itself cannot solve all the problem itself, but we feel it could work as a softener, a softening gel to solve social issues like youth employment, social inclusion. There are actually a lot of may it be charity or social enterprise in the world that's doing things like this. One example is being one in South Africa, as I know, use windsurfing for at-risk youth. And there are one in some developing country in which they sell bicycle so that the people can have an affordable vehicle to go to work. Yeah, so we feel it's something that we can bring it to Hong Kong as well.
Right, so you believe that sports is for everyone, it's a mass activity, and you also think that sports is not just for physical benefits, it's also for mental, for well-being in general. So what exactly are your programs? How do you incorporate that into your work?
Yeah, so we have many projects, but let me share you one of our signature program. So it's called Office Sports Meets. Basically, it's a corporate wellness program. Right. Okay. But we inject a lot of interactive game in it so that everyone can play. Sometimes we bring in technology using some reactive light. Right. Sometimes we use some audio visual stimulation to help. Sometimes we bring in some old-time game like limbo rock, like hula hoop. You cannot imagine like
games.
So sometimes CEO play with us as well. So gamified sports aside, the tricky point of this is when you think about trainer, you think about very fit and young, right? Right. But then we bring in those early retirees. Ooh. Yeah, we call them young old. So they're at their 50th and 60th. Right. They are still full of passion, full of life, and they are very eager to stay in the society, especially in corporate setting, which in fact they have spent most of their life with. Right. Yeah, so to date we have trained and hired 20 of them. Oh wow. Yeah, to deliver the corporate wellness program, and we intend to expand the lineup and also expand to other recipients as well. Right.
So I actually came from a communications background. Oh, wow. It's said that as we age, we start losing touch with the community. As we retire, from our jobs, we feel less connected with our community. So what you're doing is great because you're doing, this is exactly social inclusion, and I think that's really cool. So what was the reaction of the participants when they see these young old trainers coming in?
To be very honest, when we first approached the client, saying that we have this very innovative program, and they say yeah. But then we have that assistant trainer. First of all, some of them get a little bit skeptical because all the stereotype of them being a little bit quote unquote outdated.
Right.
But then when they really see them in action, they was like, wow, are they at their 6th year? So you are younger, but when you look at them, oh my God, they want to be them when they retired.
Right.
So it's that kind of reflection, that's kind of understanding that's really amazing.
Right. I think that there's a wow factor when you see someone that you don't expect, and they exceed your expectations.
Exactly.
when they do things that are really cool. I would like to hear more about social inclusion, like how your program actually works with that idea.
Yeah, so in terms of social inclusion, Young O's is one of the segments that we do. We have project coming in that will train ethnic minority youth as well. They are very energetic. They're very outgoing, and they are perfect for job in sports settings.
Right.
They could be the team leader for some tours. They could be the event management manager. They could be. They just happen. They might not be as good as the other Hong Kong students who are very good academically because of the Chinese mostly. So we will do that as well. There's another project coming in focusing on youth employment too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that also target for young people who are very passionate in sports but not doing super well academically. They want to be in the sports career, but they do not know how. But at the same time, 3 years, 4 years from now, there's a huge sports infrastructure in Kai Tak, the Kai Tak sports ground. So which require a lot of, we need talent, and these are the young people who can contribute. So it will be a multi-year program. So we're going to have a career planning for these young people to pave way for that career.
Right. I love that you're promoting the idea to the youth that life isn't always about academics or studying. You can excel in other areas of life, say through sports. So has it been hard, working on this social enterprise in Hong Kong? Do you have enough resources in Hong Kong?
There's never enough resources, right? And I always like to put it this way. The things that we do, I call it double hybrid, like hybrid.
Right.
Okay? So the first hybrid is sports and business. In Hong Kong context, it's already quite difficult to comprehend, what I'm saying? Like, people think, sports people cannot make money. How can you make money with sports? So the first hybrid is sports and business. The other hybrid is sports and social. So for us to convey this message to someone, may it be corporate or donor or whatever, sometimes it takes some time, but I think we are very confident of the power of sports, and we set up small cases to give them some proof of successful cases, so that they know sports could be a sustainable business, at the same time can create sustainable social impact too.
Right.
Yeah.
So in other countries, I've heard many bigger companies, they have sports Fridays or happy hour Fridays. They're very they cater to their employees' well-being outside of work. So you've done a lot of corporate work in Hong Kong. Are the corporates receiving this well? Or are they accepting this idea well?
Yeah, I think they do. They understand having work-life balance is so important, especially if they don't. There will be a lot of sick leave. Which actually costs the corporate a lot.
Right.
So that they are incorporating a lot of wellness program, and in our case, we're presenting ourselves not only a corporate wellness program. It's fun, it's new, and also you will feel good, you will look good after doing so, and you're doing good as well because you're supporting our social initiative.
Yes.
So I call it triple happiness.
Triple happiness. I like that. So your business your social enterprise is relatively new.
Yep.
You started last year. Have you been able to achieve your missions?
So far, we started last year, and this 2 years has been interesting.
Yeah.
So But we are very grateful because me and my partner has been in the sports business for quite a while.
Right.
So we have our connection. So we managed to do quite some workshop before the COVID time. Yeah. With some sizable corporation,
right.
which give us a very great credential. And as I said, we hired 20 young-olds as our trainers.
Right.
To be very honest, lately it has been difficult to do face-to-face, so we have been doing a lot of online. And during the COVID time, we have a special projects too.
Cool. Well, we have more exciting programs that we're going to talk about in our next session, so please stay tuned. Welcome back to Changemakers. Again, we have Tina, who's the co-founder of a social enterprise related to sports. So I know that you also work with youth apart from your corporate programs. Can you share about that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in Hong Kong, one of the most popular sports is football.
Right.
As spectator sports and also to participate. A lot of young people love it, and there's actually a lot of business opportunity in it by, for example, to design and manage a game, a match, to create a jersey, to arrange a football match per se, yeah,
right.
for community, for a corporate, for example. So we have one of our program is called the Next Football Manager. Yeah, basically the Next Football Manager.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, indeed. So they will train the youth to manage and to plan a football tournament.
Wow.
A football tournament, yeah. So starting from how to recruit the players, how to plan for the tournament schedule, how to do communication with the team captain, the trophy, everything, so that we can sell the service to community or corporate. At the same time, they will be equipped with the skill set. In the future, they could be their own boss and run their own program.
I've seen my friends play, video games that, run on a similar concept, but I never knew there are actually training programs that, actually help them become a football manager. So is it competitive? Is the industry competitive for this?
There are actually a lot of people doing it in-house, not professionally.
Right.
So us having the sports marketing background, we feel we have the expertise to do it professionally and beautifully.
Wow. Can we actually talk more about your personal background? Because I'm sure everyone wants to know, how did you, get into this field?
Yeah, so I am very into sports, as you can tell from my tan skin. My parents were professional athletes.
Wow.
Yeah. Although they have been telling me on and on and on not to go into this profession.
Oh, really? I would think that they would actually encourage you because they love sports. They want their kids to
they
love
love sports, but they know how tough it can get. So they have been asking me, probably not a good idea to do so.
Right.
Having said that, being the great daughter as I am, I'm still in this profession. So I have been doing sports marketing for the past 20 years.
Right.
And besides that, I'm also a fitness trainer, and I'm also doing a lot of community work. So it has been my dream always to think about how can I combine all this together. So because before, there's nothing like social enterprise concept.
Right.
Yeah. I think one of the trigger points for me is back in the Beijing Olympic 2008.
Oh, I was there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So by that time, I was the volunteers leaders. I led around 200 Hong Kong volunteers to work there for a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
But what surprised me most is not only about like how fast those top sportsmen do, is the power of sports to everyday people.
Right.
In our case, is the volunteers. They could be a 60-year-old retirees or an 18-year-old young people. They connect through this occasion. They show empathy.
Right.
They communicate with people from different backgrounds. So I think that the inspiration has been seeding in my mind, in my heart. And last year, I think the calling finally come.
Right.
I chose to step back from my sports agency business and create this social enterprise, which use sports as a means to help to make social change.
Right. How do your parents feel about what you're doing right now?
I think they cannot help it.
Are they at least, secretly supportive, or?
I think they're secretly supporting.
Right, right.
This is in my blood. It's my DNA. Yeah, I just can't help it.
You have a very adventurous spirit. I have a similar situation because my parents were in the entertainment industry, and they didn't like the fact that I wanted to
who you are.
Exactly. I'm still sitting here, and you're still sitting here.
Yeah.
So I think it's what's fun about life is that you need to really step out there and not listen to what others say, and to a certain extent, and actually follow your heart. And speaking of the Beijing Olympics, I think I was working there too as an intern back in 2008, and I think although I never really loved sports as much as you did, I could feel the power of sports.
Exactly.
I could feel the spirit, and I could feel that sports was uniting everyone.
Absolutely.
It's that unity, feeling of unity that really amazed me. And I actually have a question for you. So back when I was a kid, I was always forced to go to my swim team trainings, and to a point that I really hated sports for a while, for a period of time. Do you have any tips for people like me?
Yeah.
When, some youth might not actually enjoy sports. How do you encourage these people?
Yeah. So from a lot of study and from my first-hand experience, enjoyment and having fun is the most important motivator for sports.
Right.
But everyone's definition of fun is different, right?
Yeah.
So we really need to address different people's perspective and find a connector.
Right.
To find a connector that make them feel fun. So when I go to train like young people, okay, what I do is find a connector. For me, is use, for example, K-pop song. The first of all, they might be holding their hands, stand in the corner, and the music comes up.
It's my favorite song.
It's my favorite song.
Start moving.
And they start to move, and they start to loosen up and get into the song. I think it's the having fun and finding the connector.
Right. So I guess the point here is you can't force someone into enjoying something. You have to find that one element that really attracts them naturally. So I've actually heard people say that you can achieve happiness through sports. It's an idea that's hard to put into words. Like, what's your take on it?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of health and sports science. When you exercise, your body will create something called endorphin that brings you happiness. So by doing exercise, your body will create something to make you happy.
Right.
So that's more physical, right? From our understanding, that aside, being active, chances are you are connected to the nature. You're connected to the community. You are interacting with people. That is also a different aspect of happiness that being in sports can bring you.
Right. I actually noticed that people are more interested in sports, around COVID, and ever since COVID started. Do you see that pattern as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So my question to you, have you been to the trail lately?
The track.
The trail.
I haven't. Well, I've gone hiking. I actually like cleaning up the nature because I noticed that a lot of Hong Kong people have gone hiking because of COVID, and they leave the trash everywhere. So I actually have a team that goes to the mountain with me.
Yeah, so it's good that it's getting so busy. So people are really paying more attention to health and sports during COVID.
Right.
So which is a good thing. When you look at the market, I'm not sure if you have noticed, there are a lot of sports and apparel brand having their new outlet in prime location, like Central, Tsim Sha Tsui, which are used to be all luxury brands, right? So you can see there's a huge demand on buying those equipment, right?
Right.
And to give you another example, one of the leading apparel brands CEO said their digital sales has gone up like 80%, and the apps download like double.
Wow.
I think their word is that we are getting stronger in the area that matters most, which is health. Yeah.
Wow. I was just at one of the stores that you mentioned a few weeks ago because I was planning for a camping trip, and once I went to the camping session, everything was gone.
Yeah, it is.
everything was sold out. So that was pretty amazing to me. What about yourself? You're running a business in these times, and have you been lucky, just like these industries, or?
We have been lucky by having some creativity. Let me put it this way, because you know, for sports, there's a lot of face-to-face interaction and touching. So a lot have been cancelled. Mass gathering, everything. So we have been thinking, what can we do? Because we are a social enterprise, we want to help the society.
Right.
So with a little bit of creativity and a little bit help of technology, we come up with a project during the COVID.
Right.
It's called Flash Sports in the Block. To simply put, we deliver a small workout exercise opportunity to your doorstep, like deliver your food. Yeah. So in our concept is to deliver to public hosting open area.
Right.
Okay. So they do not need to travel far. They just need to go down to the open area, so they can stretch the legs. In order to maintain the social distance, we use a technology called silent disco. I'm not so sure you know, right? So everyone wearing headphones. Because social distance, everyone will be so far away apart. So with that, they can still be listening to the trainer's instruction, and we play some exciting music, very interactive game, so that we can maintain the physical health and also the mental health, because they have been trapped in the little apartment for so long. So and it works really well. We are already planning for 2.0.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That's really exciting. So in conclusion, what do you think is your social mission from working so hard on your social enterprise?
Yeah. So conventional wisdom would think us to be focusing on health and well-being. Of course, we will and we can do that. But our primary role for sports, as I put it earlier, is to extend the function, right? So our primary objective is through creating employment, so that we can help to elevate poverty and to have the society being socially included.
Oh, I think it's really cool speaking to Tina today, talking about how we adapt to the new normal in terms of how we face COVID, and of course also changing our lives through sports. So it was really fun talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having
today.
me.
I think growing up in Hong Kong, we're really conditioned to focus on our studies, focus on making money, and we spend not that much time on our well-being and sports. And I think it's really exciting meeting people like Tina, who's really passionate about sports, and she really takes that time and takes that further step to help the community through her passion. And I really hope that her idea could spread well in the community, and that Hong Kong people could change our mentality when we look at sports.
Sports, or in broader term, well-being, is about connection. Connect to your mind, connect to your body, connect to your nature, and connect to your community. If you can find all the connection in place, you can achieve harmony and you can find happiness.